and the All Indiana Podcast Network. This is the News 8 Daily 8 Podcast, a Wish TV News 8 update.
Hello, I'm Jeremy Jenkins, and this is your News 8 Daily 8 Podcast for Wednesday, December.
Why get all your holiday decorations delivered through Instacart? Because maybe you only bought 2 wreaths but have 12 windows. Or maybe your toddler got very eager with the advent calendar. Or maybe the inflatable snowman didn't make it through the snowstorm. Or maybe the twinkle lights aren't twinkling. Whatever the reason, this season, Instacart's here for hosts and their whole holiday haul. Get decorations from the Home Depot, CVS, and more through Instacart, and enjoy free delivery on your first 3 orders. Service fees and terms apply.
18th. We begin with a huge story we've been following, the execution of Joseph Corcoran. The lethal injection happened in Michigan City overnight after his legal team failed to secure a stay of execution. This marks the first execution by the state in 15 years. ITMate's Cody Fisher reports.
According to the Department of Corrections, Corcoran was pronounced dead 44 minutes after his execution began. His final words were, "Not really, let's get this over with." His wife's pleas to Governor Holcomb to save his life and his attorney's attempts to get the Supreme Court of the United States to step in both failed.
He's in shock. He doesn't understand.
That's how Corcoran's wife described his mood just moments after visiting him for the last time.
We talked about our memories. We talked about what is going to take place. And we talked about the fact that we both believe in Jesus and that we believe someday that we will see each other again.
Again, our rosary in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
In the parking lot of the prison, clergy from the Archdiocese of Gary joined in prayer for Corcoran.
We live in a very violent culture, and the more we feed into that cycle of violence, even through state means, it weakens our culture and numbs us to the loss of life in all its forms. So certainly we pray for all victims of violence, and we understand that what he did was abhorrent, but at the same time, we're seeking to ensure that his life is preserved at this time.
Corcoran was convicted in 1999 of killing 4 people, including his brother. He was originally sentenced to die later that year, but it was delayed so the federal government could review decisions made by the state. During the delay, the state had trouble getting their hands on the medications needed for an execution by lethal injection. In June, Governor Holcomb and Attorney General Todd Rokita announced they obtained drugs needed for the execution. Corcoran's attorneys are fighting to keep him alive, saying his diagnosis of schizophrenia makes his execution unconstitutional. State and federal courts have denied them at every turn.
Mental illness is real, and it's time that people, not only in this country, but every other country, accept it as a true illness. I just want the governor to take into consideration that Joseph is very mentally ill, and by another person's death, it's not going to change the past, but it can change the future.
Corcoran is the 20th person to be put to death by lethal injection in Indiana since 1996. Reporting in Michigan City for ITMate, I'm Cody Fisher. For Wish TV, wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook for updates.
Leaders at an elementary school in Bedford are apologizing today after special education students were left out of the school's Christmas program. Parents reached out to us here at News 8 saying their children at Parkview Primary Elementary School were excluded from the event. In a statement, school leaders said excluding students has no place in our school. Our priority is to create a safe, supportive environment where every student can thrive. The statement goes on to say students have not been excluded from participation in holiday programs prior to this year, nor will students ever be excluded in the future. In other news, a local family is suing Greenfield Community Schools after a father says his 10-year-old son was bullied so badly it caused him to take his own life. News 8's Kyla Russell reports.
He said, "Why don't you just fix that, Daddy? You can fix the world."
Those are the words that 10-year-old Sammy told his dad just days before taking his own life.
But his line of, "You can fix the world," he said that to me. I take it very literal now.
The Teutsch family house is covered wall to wall in memorials to the fourth grader. Sam says Sammy had experienced relentless physical and mental bullying inside school doors. The family moved to Indiana, and Sammy started at the Greenfield school about a year and a half before he died. Sam says Sammy often felt unsafe there. Sam says he went to the school to ask what action was being taken to stop the bullying at least 20 times. He says those calls for help fell on deaf ears.
It was after the fact that we found out that there were actually 6 or 7 more kids that were involved. They were telling Sammy, kill yourself, hang yourself. I wouldn't have thought that we needed to take action months ago, but now it's definite. This has to be done. We have to make changes.
I asked Sam days after Sammy's suicide if their family had heard directly from the school. At the time, he said no. Where does that stand now?
The same. Just indirect conversations that these people are having with people that aren't involved in anything. And it makes me think back on to all the times that they said, we can't mention a child's name.
Sam told me the changes he wants to see.
A better nation, a better environment for our children at school, a safer place. I want our kids to feel like they are going to a place where they can trust the person that's there, and they can tell them what they need to, and they can share, hey, this is what's going on with me, and then the person's attentive to it and not just so dismissive.
And Sam keeps his son's memory alive every day. He sees Sammy's name every time he looks down at his left hand.
The last tooth he left, he put it in an envelope, and he signed his name in cursive, but the guy that did this over at Tattoos in Time here in Greenfield made it exactly the way that Sammy wrote it. I mean, it just looks exactly like it.
Sam says over 40 children and parents have come to him with a similar story of bullying at the school.
Sam says he's hopeful Sammy's story inspires others to speak out. I'm Kyla Russell for Wish TV, wishtv.com, or follow us on Facebook for updates.
New data shows Indiana's Medicaid system is in a much better financial shape than it was last year. But some lawmakers are questioning the source. Last year, the state Medicaid program faced a nearly $1 billion shortfall. Experts now say that cost-cutting measures could save the state $384 million in general revenue. Democrats like State Representative Greg Porter argues that these savings come at too high a cost, with cuts impacting critical services.
But we also continue to give those cuts in regards to income tax cuts for individuals, corporate tax cuts. So we can continue to give those cuts, but we need to stabilize those. We need to stop them and take a good snapshot on where we are.
We have an update to a big national story we've been following at Wish TV. Luigi Mangione, the man accused of killing United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson, has been indicted for murder. A grand jury has handed down several charges against him, including murder as an act of terrorism. Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg says Mangione intended to intimidate and, in his words, evoke terror with the killing of Thompson on a New York street back on December 9th. Mangione is still being held in Pennsylvania and is fighting extradition to New York. A hearing in that case is scheduled for tomorrow in Pennsylvania. Let's talk sports. Butler football is celebrating today with the arrival of its new head coach. Kevin Lynch was introduced to the university yesterday as the 26th coach to lead the Bulldogs. Lynch has a family connection to the program. His dad, Bill Lynch, coached at Butler for 5 seasons back in the 80s, before going on to coach at Ball State, IU, and DePaul. For the last 8 years, Kevin Lynch has served as an assistant at Ball State. When it comes to the weather, you can put away the umbrellas and your shades too, at least for now. Storm Track 8 says it will be a wet and cloudy day today. Meteorologist Tara Hastings has your News 8 Daily 8 forecast.
At least the rain has exited here for the most part. Here is a look at Storm Tracker. We had some of those showers moving in for the first part of the day today. Those are all now shifting off to the east of us. We have a few very light spotty showers beginning to exit eastern sections of Indiana, right around Richmond and Wayne County, Connorsville, also into Rushville. A few light showers for you as well. Lots of clouds in place right now. Live look downtown here. from our parking lot camera. 39 degrees right now in Indianapolis. Winds out of the north at 10 miles per hour. That's creating a wind chill, or feels like temperature, at 32. We're at 37 in Lafayette, Kokomo, and Fort Wayne, 36 in Richmond, and lower 40s across parts of Bloomington, Bedford, and Columbus. Now, I don't think the temperatures are really going to climb all that much. First of all, we've got a lot of clouds in place. We have a little bit of a sliver of sunshine here from Fort Wayne, northwest of Indianapolis, through Terre Haute. But in general, I think we'll stay with mostly cloudy skies today. All of the rain pushes off to the east of us, and those temperatures will stay fairly steady through the day today. We're talking about readings in the upper 30s and lower 40s. Even colder conditions arrive as we head into the weekend. We will share that full forecast for you coming up in just a few minutes.
We wrap things up with a friendly reminder about holiday shipping. If you want a gift to arrive by Christmas, this is the last day you can ship it with the U.S. Postal Service. The deadline for UPS is tomorrow or Monday with next day air. You have until Saturday if you use USPS Priority Mail Express. As for FedEx, if you're willing to pay for it, you can cut it as close as Christmas Eve with same-day shipping. This has been your News 8 Daily 8 podcast for Wednesday, December 18th. I'm Jeremy Jenkins for Wish TV, wishtv.com, or follow us on Facebook for updates.
This is the News 8 Daily 8 podcast, a Wish TV News 8 update on demand. For even more, on demand and on the go, connect with Wish TV on Facebook at wishtv.com and on the free Wish TV mobile app. Thank you for listening, and be sure to like, subscribe, and follow this podcast for updates every weekday morning on the All Indiana Podcast Network and wherever you get your podcast.